Hello, everyone. Sufit here. I am here today with Charles B. Ticker, estate mediator. Welcome, Charles.
Hi, Sophie.
So, our question today is: are mediations between siblings different than any other mediation? You have a lot of experience both as a mediator and as counsel in mediations. What's your take on this?
They are definitely different because uh, the sibling relationship is totally unique. It's different from any other kind of relationship that I can think of that may be involved in a legal dispute.
So, unique in what way?
Well, first of all, sibling is someone you have your entire life, and uh, people can go through a divorce, or they can have a business relationship that ends, or the friendship that ends. uh, Siblings, even if you don't speak to one another, you're still siblings. You're still stuck. You have that relationship, and so that's what makes it very different and also very challenging, because these emotions that drive these sibling estate disputes are so deep rooted and they're ingrained in our DNA. Um, it just makes it very different and difficult, but on the other hand, very interesting to work with.
So, do you think that the relationship between siblings, let's say when they were young, that they fought over, who got a red bicycle and who didn't, could possibly affect what's going on now, 30, 40, 50 years later, when their parents pass away and they're fighting over the parents' cottage? Would that be relevant?
Most definitely. Typically, when I'm dealing with these adult sibling estate disputes, I spend time privately with each sibling to get some of the family background, some of their relationship background, and I discover almost all the time that these problems are deep rooted. They go back to childhood, and I wrote about this in my book. Things about mistreatment of pets. Um, the Smothers Brothers, where Tommy always said, "Mom always liked you best,"
Mm-hmm.
and Tommy Smothers said, that really resonated with their audience. Why? Because they could relate to it, and so there's no question that childhood experiences and relationships with siblings um, uh, affect how they treat one another and react to each other as adults. Not always, but I say typically yes.
And so, what about the fact that once the mediation is over, you mentioned earlier that the sibling relationship is one of the longer relationships one has in one's life. What about the fact that maybe they're going to want to have Thanksgiving dinner together at some point in the future, or maybe be at a family wedding, in the same room? How does that concern um, affect how one conducts a mediation, like to preserve the relationship? Is that relevant?
It's certainly relevant, and it's great if the mediator can help the parties to reconcile, to at least they'll be on more civil terms, because it affects not just them, it affects their children as well. So, kissing cousins become non-speaking cousins because their parents don't talk to one another. Um, Sometimes that, it's beyond that. And but I sometimes, I would tell people, never say never to a sibling. You might need a kidney one day, and you might want to have
Yeah.
that relationship, um, and uh, and that could definitely happen. Um, so that is, I wouldn't say it's the goal of the mediation, but I think the process of mediation gives you a better chance of that happening than if you went all the way to a trial.
Why would the judge not take the time that a mediator would?
Well, a judge, and I tell the parties at mediation, I said, look, today's your day. Today's for you, your day to control the process, be creative, keep this off the internet so people don't read about your dirty laundry if a judge issues a decision. I said, look, you say you want a day in court, but judges really don't care about your feelings or or what, what you've gone through, and what they just want to know what's the facts and apply it to the law. So I said, you're going to be very disappointed because the judge is not really going to have the time or the patience to talk to you about these sort of things. So people say, I just want to tell my story to a judge. They don't understand that judge's not interested in that story. And what I also tell the parties is the judge is going to do everything in his or her power to keep you out of court. So that if you don't settle today, they're going to force you to come to settlement conferences or judicial mediation, because they don't want to deal with this stuff. So you might as well settle today, or try to settle today, because the odds are you're going to settle at some point.
And you mentioned this thing of dirty laundry. Are you saying that when a judge makes a decision, it's there for anybody to read?
Well, yes. I mean, here in Canada, in Ontario, most decisions are published in writing, and they're published on websites like canlee.org, which is totally accessible to anybody with a computer and the internet. You don't need a password. You don't need an account. It's open to the public, and it's there for the world to read forever. So I tell the
How
parents,
creepy is that?
I'm sorry.
How creepy is that? All right. Well,
Yeah,
there you have it.
I certainly wouldn't want that all over the internet, but my
Yeah.
family.
Yeah. So very good reason to go to mediation and get somebody who knows something about the sibling relationship. Thank you very much. Our guest today has been Charles B. Ticker, estate mediator. Charles, thank you very much.
Thank you. My pleasure.